All right, welcome in, everybody. Before I dive in, I wanted to share with you this coffee that I've been having. It's actually coffee free. There's not a coffee ground in the whole thing, but it's Ticino, so it's two E's and two C's. And if you wanted to try it, it's at ticino.com, or I get mine at Sprouts, but depending on where you are in the country, may not have a Sprouts. I don't know what other physical stores sell it, but all of the flavors are online. So that's caramel nut, which I'm having now. I have a maple pecan, and I have chocolate mint, and I've had like a hazelnut one, and they're kind of fun. And it's no coffee, there's no caffeine, so it's a nice, excuse me, afternoon snack, or afternoon something. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Normally, I just get the coffee grounds and put it in my coffee maker, so it just fills and looks and seems like coffee. So at least my morning habit is not interrupted. So if you're new and you're worried about your coffee, that's a great place to start, and you can start that on day one. But this time I got these, like, they're like tea bags. So I don't have to make a whole pot or anything. I just get the hot water, and it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. So it's kind of rainy out where I'm at right now. So it just seemed like an appropriate thing to drink. Anyway, with that being said, let me see here 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right, so I am going to share my screen. All right. Okay, so does anybody have any wins they'd like to share with the group at all today? Weight loss, medications down, belt buckles, going on that last rung or buckle, the hole, or something else, maybe? Any
I'm
wins or
down 14 pounds.
Michael's down 14 pounds.
14?
Yeah.
And you guys just started like
We're on our third week. I'm down 9, but we feel 1,000 times
I used to eat a lot
better.
of sugar before.
Yeah.
So
ton
it's
of
just
sugar.
stopping that.
His belly is like almost gone. He was looking pretty pregnant. And
only a wife could say that, I guess.
well, I mean, it was true. It's not, we have no problem telling each other the truth. It's not like I'm offending him. That's what it was. And so we just had a nice walk on the beach.
Oh,
And
how lovely, how nice. And just for any of you listening to this or here live today, if you are doing this with your male partner, if you're female and you're doing this with your husband or your brother or your a male person, please do not compare yourself to him, because 100% of the time he will lose more weight faster than you. We are just designed, it's just our chemistry. It does nothing wrong with us, nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with me. It's just is what it is, that we don't have the same testosterone they do.
Yeah.
Or muscle mass. Or
I was 218 too, so I was pretty big. I was 218, now 204.
Yeah.
I'd like to share.
Oh,
I lost today, this morning, I weighed in and I'm down officially 20 pounds. I'm on day 43. And I also fit into a pair of pants that, I don't know, it seemed like it was only a week ago I couldn't get into. And now they went on no problem. And I'm just so happy. I feel my moods are lighter. I feel more positive. I feel more energetic. And I haven't felt any cravings. It's just an amazing program, Tammy. And thank you.
Great to hear.
Thank you
What a
so much.
wonderful share. I love that. And you know, oh, I love Hillary's got her emojis. I love that. And yeah, it does make sense as far as your mood goes because gut health is very, very connected to our anxiety and our depression. So if the gut is
Yeah.
off, we are off. So it sounds to me like everything's working like it's supposed to be working for you. So
Right.
congratulations on that. I'm super stoked for you on that.
Me too.
And
Thank you.
you are welcome. You did, and you're doing it. We facilitate, but you're doing the deal. That's just it. We gotta do the deal. We can, watch the videos and do whatever we're doing. But if we're not gonna do the deal, we're probably not gonna see as many of the results. And I don't expect
Right.
anybody to be perfect because none of us are, but just your best and look at what your best has gotten you. I love that you shared that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Candy, our resident pharmacist, she's just kind of saying here in the chat, testosterone is the best, but if women had more of it, we'd kill each other. She's not wrong.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny. That was funny. All right. So let's see. We're going to start off today. Come on. All right. Funnies and shout outs. I got a few of those. We're going to talk about what is it that you see? What do you believe the world is? What do you believe the world looks like? We're going to just learn today that maybe what we think this world is like may be our own personal version of it, which it kind of is. But anyway, I'm talking about the three Helens. I'll go into what that even means. And that's kind of a funny story. So I think you guys will appreciate that. We'll learn about the RAS, or the reticular activating system, which is your brain's filter, it's what allows or disallows information to get into your brain. We'll talk about your belief systems, and we'll talk about some brain hacks. So let's go right into it here. I thought I'd put up some kind of different perspective things, some cartoons with different perspectives. The guy on the island, all he wants is a boat. All he wants is a boat, and there's a boat, and he's so excited. The guy in the boat, all he wants is an island. So it just depends on how you're looking at it. Either way, they're probably not going to be able to save each other. But it's a perspective. All I want is a boat. All I want is a boat. It's a perspective. And then, what we see when we look at a tree, and of course, the little boy's version is the best. He's looking for something to climb. Everybody else kind of overthinks it. And this pool, there's definitely a different perspective there. Like I said, the world that we live in, we believe it to be a certain way. But if you're sitting over here on this end of the pool and your life looks like that, that's great. But if you're taking a different viewpoint, the pool is just a doughboy or above ground pool. It's really nothing special. It's just a completely, even though it's the same thing. So sometimes the world we live in is really not what we think it is. All right, so some shout outs. Michelle, it's all weight loss. Sorry. I know a lot of you are complaining. I'm not here for weight loss, but that's the results I got this week. Michelle's down 10 pounds in her first 2 weeks. So congrats to Michelle. Denise is down 10 pounds. Linda is down 20 pounds, and her neck pain is completely gone. So the inflammation in her body has disappeared. Megan is down, she didn't say how much weight, but she's down 17 inches. And her knee pain is completely gone. And she said that's been bothering her for a long time. So congrats to you, Megan, on that. I'm just looking at the chat here. The testosterone and estrogen didn't register in my blood work. Oh my. Wow. Candy said, I would have them redraw that. It's very odd that men 50 to 60.
Sorry, Tammy, I thought it was Mike that was writing me. I didn't know it was Hillary. So it's not abnormal for a female to not have the testosterone show up. We are pretty low in that area. Also depends on how much you're converting on a daily basis. But the estrogen is in fat tissue. And even the most fit women still have about 8% fat. So that's where we find estrogen. So it would make me wonder if they made an error. That's just my thought.
Thank you for that, because you explained that better than I did. Thank you. All right. So, okay. All right. So let's get started. All right. So what do you see? So I'm looking at the picture on the left. This guy's hanging for dear life in the middle. The guy sitting on the ledge doesn't seem to care or notice. The guy at the bottom here, he looks like he's running to save the guy that's hanging for dear life. And then the one on the right, the guy's doing finger push-ups, which is quite impressive. The guy sitting in the chair over there is quite impressed as well, as you can see. However, I want you to turn your head to the right and see what's in the background. So the guy that's hanging for dear life, he's laying on a sidewalk. As you can see, there's a car in the background. The guy sitting on the ledge is not sitting on a ledge at all. He's in the gutter. And the guy running to save the guy hanging is actually laying on the sidewalk as well. And then you got your guy doing the finger push-ups. He's just standing at a wall with his fingers on the wall. So I found these two and I was so excited to find these because it kind of tells the story of what we're going to be talking about today. What we believe to be the truth is not always. And that has never been more apparent in today's politics. You got one side or the other, and I'm not going to talk about which and which, but each side believes with every fiber of their soul that they are right and that this is how it is, and that this other side believes that they are right and this is how it is. And they are adamant, and there's nothing you can do to change their mind because they are 100% in belief of either side of that story. So it just goes to show you what you believe is not always the truth. So let's dig into that today.
You know, I just always adhere to the premise that we won't change. We won't find the truth unless we desire the truth more than we want to be right.
Ooh, and that's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean,
That is hard for
it's
a
a
lot of people.
lesson. I had to come to that years ago, but I had to become aware of it. That was like, I was around 30, and I was like, am I believing things just to believe them? I don't want to believe something just to believe it. So I had to be in search of the truth, knowing that what I could discover was I had always been wrong. I had to be able to be found wrong if I wanted to find the truth.
That's wow. Okay, my work here is done. We can all go home now. That was good. That was perfect. And that is the truth. We have to be willing to be wrong and be wanting to seek the truth more than we want to be right. Obviously I couldn't have said that better. So thank you. Thank you, Michael, which is actually Hillary, of course. So what do you guys see here? I mean, it looks like a vase or
facing
two profile pictures, two faces looking at each other. So the world is not always what we think it is. We got some more chats in here. I see two faces. Okay, very good. Okay, we're caught up on those. Okay, so I have a story for you, and I think, and I stole the story, so I'm not plagiarizing. I'm going to give Kyle Cease full credit for the story. He's written a couple books, and he's a comedian. He is really funny. He's a comedian gone motivational speaker. And I've actually been to one of his events. It was a 2-day event in like Pasadena or La Cañada in California. And it's great to go to those kinds of things because they're so inspiring and yet they're entertaining at the same time. He's really, really funny. So this is from his book, The Illusion of Money. Now it's called The Illusion of Money, but I am going to tell the story like he tells it. Well, not like he tells it. He's actually really funny. I'll do my best, but it won't be his version, but you can hear it for yourself because I got his book on Audible called The Illusion of Money. Kyle Cease, I believe it starts with a C. Where did it go? Where did it go? C, with a C, CEA. Something like that. All right. So the story of the three Helens. So there's three Helens, and they're all about the same age. They're all having the same capabilities. They all kind of come from the same part of the country. So they have a lot of similarities. And as Kyle would say, maybe that's why their names were all Helen. Their all three names are Helen. But they were each gifted a $10 million. So we've got Helen A. Well, he goes into this whole thing, Helen 1, Helen 2, Helen 3. He's like, nope, that doesn't work. So we got Helen A, Helen B, and Helen C. So let's talk about Helen A. All right, so Helen A, she's all excited, of course. Like, who wouldn't be excited? She just got $10 million. And everybody was kind of coming from the same place financially. So they're all going to be as equally impacted by $10 million. So that's a really, obviously, a very cool thing. So what does Helen A do? She quits her job. She buys a beautiful luxury apartment in downtown of the state that she lives in. She buys a convertible, and she's going out to dinner. She's taking her friends out to dinner and buying everybody's drinks and picking up the tab. And she bought a lot of jewelry, and she even bought a Kid Rock statue for this beautiful new luxury apartment. So this is what Helen A did. We got Helen B. Now Helen B, she decided to let me take a little course on money. So she went to the Courtyard by Marriott and took the course on a Saturday afternoon. She put her money into certain stocks. She made some smart investments, and she put her money into an investment that's basically getting her 10% of a return, which is pretty good and pretty safe. So Helen B took the safe route. Did I hit record? It says recording? Okay, good.
Yes.
Always
Yes.
panic because
Yes, you did.
Okay, I don't want to have to repeat all that again. All right, so Helen B played it smart. She made some smart investments. She spent her money a little bit more wisely. She bought a home, but a modest home. So she did the smart thing to do. Well, Helen C, she did something different. She also, just like Helen A, she quit her job, but she quit her job because her job was not fulfilling her soul. And she decided to take herself to Thailand and go backpacking and do some internal work. When she got back from the backpacking, she felt like such a different human being. She had discovered so many wonderful things about herself. She took some art lessons, some painting lessons. She hired a personal trainer and a nutritionist, so she took care of her body. And so she did some things, took some personal development courses. And ultimately, she ended up starting her own business of something that actually fills her soul. With all the classes that she was able to take, she decided to start a business of things that do inspire her and fills her soul. She even hired out help to the people. She used some of that money to have the people in her business doing the stuff she doesn't like. She didn't like the bookkeeping part of it. She didn't like the advertising part of it. She just wanted to do the actual job of it. So she hired it out. So she did everything to make her soul feel better. She expanded herself. So she went on basically an expansion process. So as you can probably guess, Helen A and Helen C had less money at the end of their first year. Helen B had slightly more money at the end of her first year because she was doing what's right with, the safe thing to do. But at the end of the day, if all the money went away, the whole new world order took over, and there's no such thing as money, and so everybody's bank account got depleted. The only one who still has something left would be Helen C, because she still has that insight. She still has what she knows about herself. She still knows her strengths. She knows her weaknesses. She knows how to start the business now because she took that class as well. So she's actually going to be better off than the first two Helens. So how does that relate to weight loss or staying on a health and wellness program? What does that even look like? Well, let's talk about that. So say for example, so now we're going to switch situations. We've got the three Helens. We've got Helen A, Helen B, and Helen C. And they were all gifted with a body with perfect health. Their heart, their blood pressure is perfect. Their gut is perfect. All of their organs are in perfect health. All the numbers across the board. Their weight is exactly where they want it to be. Their shape is exactly what they want it to be. They were given the full-on gift of health. So what would Helen A do? Well, we know Helen A was all into immediate satisfaction or instant gratification. So she's going, yes. Helen A is going, I'm going to go out for cheeseburger and fries, and I'm going to have a shake, and I'm going to supersize it because I can get away with it. I can do that now. I can, she's going to sleep in instead of going to the gym. She's going to skip all that gym stuff. Why should she have to do that? She's got the perfect health. She's got that perfect body. So she's really taking, she's not going to bed early, so she's not getting the right sleep. All the different things. Why should she bother? She's already got that perfect health. No one guaranteed she'd get to keep it, but she already has it. So let's just eat the crappy food because it's instant gratification. Helen B, she's going to play it smart. She's like, well, this body feels pretty good. I have more energy than I've ever had. I'm off any medications. I can fit into all my favorite jeans and suits and outfits and cute things and little black dress. And I'm pretty happy about that. So she does the smart thing. She gets a personal trainer and she goes to the gym. She learns how to eat right. And so she's taking care of business to maintain her health and wellness. She goes to bed at a decent hour and she learns about the different foods that might help her maintain that super wonderful health. Helen C, on the other hand, she's got the perfect health and she might hire the personal trainer, but because she's into expanding, because she feels good enough, she's taking some salsa dance lessons. She's learning how to play pickleball. She's expanding herself. She's joined groups, hiking groups, to meet and socialize with other like-minded people. She's joined the health and wellness group so she can exchange some recipes and exercise ideas. She's meeting with other people, and maybe she's even going on to a matchmaker or a dating site so that she can meet somebody to enhance her life for a romantic partner who has the same interests as her in expanding their life. So these are the kinds of difference. So I thought I would give you guys a little homework, for this next week, and you can take it all the way and write everything down if you want to, or just mentally notice, where are you being more like Helen A, or where are you being more like Helen B, or where are you expanding yourself and being more like Helen C? And it could be either with your money, how you treat your money. Look at how lottery winners, treat their money because they don't have the right mindset. You hear all the time people win hundreds of millions of dollars, but if they don't have the right mindset of what to do with it and how to expand their self and how to make the right investments, they're going to come back to the $30,000 a year job in just a few years. So mindset does definitely matter. So hopefully that little story was impactful, but I'd love for you guys to tell me next week where you might be Helen A-ing it a little too much. And by the way, that actually happened to me in real life. I was at a restaurant somewhere, and this lady who was heavy, she walked up to me, or she said to me, she goes, girl, if I was as fit as you, I wouldn't have ordered the salad because I was eating a salad or something healthy. She goes, I would have ordered the cheeseburger and fries. Why wouldn't you get that when you're so fit? And I felt body shamed in a way, but at the same time, it's a mindset. her first thought of the minute we lose a pound, it's time to treat ourselves with a cheeseburger and fries. So shifting the way we think and feel about how we're treating our body can really make a difference for our long-term results. All right, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, because our subconscious mind is a very, very powerful piece of our thinking, and all of our behaviors pretty much come from our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is like 95%, and our conscious mind is 5%. So if the conscious mind says, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get off my meds, I'm pre-diabetic, I'm not going to become a diabetic, but 95% of you is going, go after get the ice cream, get the pizza, get the dessert, go to happy hour. If your subconscious mind is not programmed in the right way, this is why we backtrack. This is why we self-sabotage. So the reticular activating system is, what's good about it is it will determine what we notice. So when we look out into this world, we have an opinion of this world. We've given everything a little bit of a meaning. We've given everything a little bit of importance. And there's some things we never even see, either because we don't want to or we've decided it's unimportant. What the reticular activating system is it filters what does get into the brain. So by you guys showing up to this class or any of these group calls, these presentations, and I'm talking about the glycemic index, which by the way is next week. And all of a sudden now your brain is looking for the words glycemic index. And so when there's a package at the grocery store, you've seen it a million times, but did you ever notice it? Nope. But now that you're studying the glycemic index, as an example, that's going to pop out to you. Those kinds of labels are going to pop out to you. When I did the talk on label reading and it said all natural, I'll bet you that pops out to you and you have a different thought about it than you would have before taking that class. We give things the different meanings, and those kinds of pieces of information wouldn't even be getting into our eyeballs, into our vision, if we weren't studying it or thinking about it. And I even joked yesterday, even words, when I learn a new word, all of a sudden I hear it everywhere. Like everybody's using that word. And I'm 61 years old and I'm like, I just learned that word yesterday. How has that word never been in my radar? My reticular activating system didn't think it was an important enough word for me to hear, or I hadn't heard it enough, I guess, to make it important for me to do some research. What does that word even mean? The good news is the reticular activating system can be easily programmed by you guys studying your book, by you guys taking the course and watching the videos, by you guys coming to these calls and learning the buzzwords and learning the buzz pieces of information that tell your body to go into fat burning zone. That's going to be an important thing for you. So when you start to see words like low glycemic or healthy, or the fit food, or this yoga studio is just opening up, your brain would have never seen that. Yoga has never been on your radar, but now that you're looking into ideas of things you can do for physical fitness, you're going to start to notice those things. But by reading and learning this, you're programming your reticular activating system to be able to notice. Now, the good news too is once you notice these things, oh, there's a low glycemic recipe, there's a low glycemic product on the shelf at the grocery store, there's a fitness studio, Pilates studio opening up nearby. All of these things will start to notice. I call those opportunities. And that's where that's where you have to take an action. And so you'll go into that Pilates studio, you buy that low glycemic product, you make that low glycemic recipe, you follow through with what it is you're being shown. So just because you're being shown doesn't mean it's going to work. You have to actually take the action. But as I said, you can program that reticular activating system to start to notice the things that are going to serve you in your quest for health and wellness. There's some, they're still talking about, I'm just looking through the chat, see what I missed. They're still
No,
talking about the
nothing new.
testosterone.
Yeah,
Pardon?
nothing new.
Nothing new. Okay. All right. If you guys are shy and don't want to ask out loud, you can chat. I just have to catch it up. Okay. All right. So your belief system is, we have a lot of beliefs. Like I said in the beginning, sometimes what we believe is not even real. Like look at those pictures we saw, or the example of the politics. Both sides believe they are right with every fiber of their soul. So it doesn't, but it doesn't always mean we're right. So we got to start figuring out what limiting beliefs do we have. Yesterday we talked about learned helplessness, and I used the example of the elephant being tied to a stake in the ground, and the chain is only, or it's just a chain or just whatever, a cable of some sort, and it's attached to the ankle of the elephant when it's a baby, and it's only 20 feet long. That elephant cannot get past that 20 feet. He just can't go past it because he can't get it out. He's too small. But that elephant grows and grows and grows and grows and becomes a full grown elephant, which could easily rip out that stake out of the ground. But because the elephant believes it's stuck and he believes is out of control, has zero control of the situation, he doesn't even try. So sometimes, you know, we want certain things. I want $1 million. We want a healthy body. We want the most wonderful relationships. We want all these things, but do we believe we're capable of getting them? Or do we believe that's for somebody else? That would be a limiting belief. But if we start to at least pay attention and realize those beliefs are not real, even if you've tried 100 diets, and it didn't work for some reason, you went back into your old ways. Your reticular activating system wasn't programmed. Your subconscious mind wasn't programmed. So you went back to the old ways. Doesn't mean it can't be changed moving forward. Doesn't mean you can't take control of the behaviors that need to take place to do what it is that you need to do to get the results that you want. Taking full responsibility for your actions is the best way to take control of your results. So it's about what you believe you're capable of. And in full transparency, I've owned several businesses. And now I work for Dr. Infantino. I do have a fear now of not being able to run my own business. I was trying to do it by myself. Dr. Infantino has a team, and there's no way he could do it, not pat myself on the back, but without Debbie for sure. And if he was doing my job, which he could easily do, then he couldn't do his part. And then it wouldn't be a business. But if we don't believe we're capable of something, that's a subconscious program that we need to shift. And the best way out of that is visualizing yourself with the results that you do want. Visualizing yourself, seeing yourself wearing the outfits, having the energy, doing the things that all that extra energy is going to give you. Maybe you're hiking with your friends. Maybe you're ziplining in Costa Rica. Maybe you're going on, just playing sports with your friends. Maybe you're out learning dance class or doing something that fills your soul and expanding yourself. So noticing what you think you're capable of is good. This is a huge one, who you think you are. I could do this one for a week. This is such a deep, powerful place. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to be consistent with who you think you are. And that was a quote by Tony Robbins. And he has a lot of quotes. I've been to his Unleash the Power Within live event. It's a 4-day event. Very, very powerful. Beginning, I think it was around 2003 or 2004, something like that. It was a long time ago. It was in New York, but it was very, very powerful. So if you ever get a chance to listen to some of his audios, please do. He's very powerful. But who you think you are is how we show up. It's how we do pretty much everything. And an example is we have many identifications. I am a mother, I am a woman, I'm an employee, I'm an American, I'm a dancer, I'm a Sagittarius. Like I have a lot of different ones. But because I believe those things about myself, that's how I show up. I believe I'm a Sagittarius, so I show up with hopefully some kind of sense of humor and a lot of fun. I like to have a lot of fun in what I do, and very adventurous and very outgoing and not usually very shy. And that's kind of how I show up. I believe I am a dancer. So even if I'm somewhere that's not a dance floor, I'm kind of bopping in my spot. It's just who I am. It's just, it feels right. It feels like who I am. Um, the mother thing, the woman thing, all of those things is part of how I show up to the world. Hillary, you had something?
Yeah, um, our our brains are created for orientation and will not disagree with our brains will not allow our senses to disagree with our orientation. For example, if I have a right ear that says this is up, but I've got an infection in my left ear, and so it says this is up here. My brain says we are on the move. So it will, even if my eyes can see that things are not on the move, then my brain will translate what it's seeing to be on the move. Same with hearing and feeling. There's just so orientation is massive, which is why, our education system, people, have fought to gain control of our education system so that they can raise up, totally orient children based on a certain prescribed course of action because and it's why there's these two profound camps and you try to reason and there's no ability to reason. It's because where our orientation is sealed for our ability to receive information. And so that's why it really takes a commitment to, okay, what is the truth about the way we're eating? What is the truth about who I am? What are the underlying beliefs behind the way I'm reacting at home or reacting to the news? Or what am I believing and where does that come from? Because that's my orientation. Like I used to say, okay, nobody walks down the aisle thinking I can't wait to get in massive fights and divorce this guy or right? But what happens? Disorientation. And we don't no child says I'm going to grow up and be a drug dealer or addicted to food or a criminal or no, what happens? Disorientation, and we end up in places we would have never wanted to go, which is why I would tell my kids, obedience is a gift to you. It says, hey, let me help you as someone who loves you and sees something. Take a course of action you wouldn't have taken so you could get to somewhere you wouldn't have gone following what you think is right. So this is so powerful and um, it's so important for us to understand how profound deception is. We're all deceived in different areas, and the main characteristic of deception is that you think you're right. And so how do you get to where memories, where traumas, where my body has stored things, where all of this comes into play with why I go ahead and make the decisions I say I really don't want to make, or vice versa.
Wow, that that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. But yeah, it's identity, how you identify is just how we show up. So if we can start to change how we see ourselves, again, it goes back to the visualization. What you believe your choices about food. I talked about that, I think, earlier in this week. We're talking about shifting your perspective. So rather than looking at the foods you can't have, look at what you can have, and then look at foods that you can have. Think about what they are doing in your body. Is this one good for my eyes? Is this one good for my skin? Is this one good for my heart or my brain or my hair or whatever? It's good for my gut. So what do you believe about your food choices is also going to help making choosing the right things a little bit better or easier, I should say. What you think about this program? What do you believe about this program? I've heard all the whole spectrum. I've had people come through this program and go, wow, this was so easy. You know, I was able to have avocado and, you know, all this and that and this and that. And it was easy to do. And then I have somebody else who's done the exact identical program, didn't change anything for either person. You know, a lot of you I've tweaked the program for, but and come on, this was so hard and it was so it took away all my favorite things, and it was just, I couldn't possibly stick to anything like this. It's just a belief. If you decide you're going to go for it, you got to go for it. Like Hillary was just talking about it, like that obedience thing. You know, sometimes it's not fun in the beginning, but it gets you to that next level of the place. So what you believe about the program, what you believe about your food is going to be whether you follow through or not. Your ability to control a situation, like the learned helplessness, the elephant. If you feel like you can't control something, that is a horrible feeling if it's out of control. Like it's raining outside, and my exercise plan for the day was to go for a run or a walk outside. And I'm like, okay, the weather ruined my exercise. I can't exercise. You know, it's the weatherman's fault. You know, it's somebody, it's out of my control. And the ability to, or by me putting my health and wellness in the power of the weatherman, so to speak, I've just lost all my control. The first thing I got to do to get my control back is to take 100% responsibility. Okay, it's raining outside. What can I do? What could I possibly do? And it's raining. I don't want to walk to the gym. It's raining. I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to drive there. It's raining. I don't want to go outside. It's raining. What can I do? Well, I could turn on YouTube and put in home workout with no equipment. I can go into YouTube and put in a yoga. I can go put on some music and start dancing. That might fill my soul and burn a few calories and work my heart and lungs. So once you take 100% responsibility, and which sucks, it sucks because now it is my responsibility. However, I get to be in charge of my own health and wellness. It's not like, oh, we went to the party and it's the hostess's fault. She put out all those chocolate cookies. You know, that's giving the hostess the control of what's happening in your own body. What is my 100% responsibility? If I take 100%, I showed up to the party with a different kind of chocolate cookie. Maybe it was made from banana and egg and cocoa powder. Something different. That's me taking full responsibility. So when we feel out of control, it's a very scary place to be, and you are becoming victim. If you give the control to something or someone else, it just feels it's a way of losing control. So take your control back and take responsibility. All right, so here we go. At first glance, we went over some of these on Monday. So if you say at first, you might say, oh, this is too hard. Oh, I was hoping it would do this. I guess I couldn't do that. All right, so we'll have to do these as they go. It's too hard. So what do you guys think a perspective shift would be for it's too hard? Hillary answered this yesterday, so I know you'll get that one. Anybody? Well, it's going to come up. How about I don't have time? That's a common one. I don't have time. I worked 4 jobs. I have 18 kids, taking care of my parents.
I think that one is a matter of reorganizing your priorities, because you know, if you really measure out your day and all the things you do, you know, so often I know even with myself, I have a lot of wasted time on my calendar, and that's when I say, well, you're going to have to stop that. You know, you're going to have to change your schedule and what you do and what you prioritize as being important, most important.
That's good. That's exactly right. They call it putting the big rocks in first. So if you
Yeah.
actually schedule your week, The big rocks are the absolutely have to do it, you know, like a shower
Yeah.
or eat, you know, like we have to do those things to pretty much, you know, those things. But if we put that on the calendar, okay, Monday, I get up 6 a.m., prayer time, exercise at 6:30, breakfast at what, you know, if like you put those things in there, and then there's extra time to scroll on Facebook or read through a magazine that really doesn't do anything but entertain us, or whatever wasting time things that we find ourselves doing. Those that we might allow ourselves a little bit of that, but the big rocks were already in place, so we're already doing the things that are the most important.
Right, right.
My family eats in a different way. I hear this one a lot, that, you know, my family won't eat like this. I'm like, eat like what? It's real food. They won't eat chicken. They won't eat broccoli. They won't make, I mean, some people don't like broccoli, but it's real food. So that one, you don't have to, maybe they need macaroni and cheese also, then, and you just avoid that piece, or the mashed potatoes or the French fries or whatever. Well, let's see what comes up on the other list. My life is very crazy right now. Well, whose isn't? But I understand, we go through hard things. I just talked to someone yesterday, their mom was just in the ER. You know, that will set you off. Somebody got into a car accident. Their son was in a car accident. She was in the hospital all weekend. That's a real excuse. But let's see what we can come up with. Oh, here it is. I already said this one. I can't work out because it's raining outside. Well, actually, the sun just came up, so that excuse is gone for me. As you can see, it just lit up. So my excuse is done. All right, so here's the answers, or some of the things I came up with. You guys did too. So if for it's too hard, you find out, well, what can I do? What am I able to do in this situation? You know, if it's too hard to give up coffee, okay, wean yourself slowly. If it's too hard to exercise, think of things that you do that moves your body that you do enjoy. And maybe it is a dancing, or maybe it is playing with grandchildren or kids, or taking some kind of pickleball or class or bowling or anything where you're moving your body. What can I do? I don't have time. Well, you know, if you look at like successful salespeople, for example, and then you look at, you know, the people that are not so successful within the same company, they each have the same 8 hours in the day at the job. Which one of them is making more phone calls? Which one is making more phone calls? Let's see. They're making time. They're making the extra phone calls. Same with fitness people. They have the same time hours in a day that we do. How do they have more time to work out? It's because they make it a priority. Just like Kathleen was saying. My family eats in a different way. You know, what do they like that is on the program? Oh, Kathleen, you had a comment or a question?
Yes, in terms of my family eats a different way, you know, one thing that I had introduced to my brother's family out in California when I was visiting there last year, I used to do the keto diet and then kind of went into paleo, but at the time I was still doing keto. And, you know, their older son had, because I was talking about it, and he was like, oh gosh, he's like, I could never do that. And I said, well, you know, I asked him what his favorite foods were. And of course, one of them were, you know, it was McDonald's. And I said, how about if I make you a Big Mac? And he said, okay. And the resources we have available to us on the internet are incredible. But making those waffles, but on keto, they call them chaffles because they add cheese to them and almond flour. And so I first made a chaffle because I brought my little griddle with me everywhere and made a burger. I sliced up tomatoes, shredded some lettuce, and then I made the special sauce myself using a ketchup with no sugar, using a healthy mayonnaise and some mustard and pickles. Served it up to them. and he loved it. The cheese I used was it was the Kerrygold hard cheese that I shredded
They have
myself.
cheese too? Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, and you know what? He was like over the moon about it. And I think it's, my family eats a different way. It's a matter of us being creative and introducing some of these things. And yeah, it worked. So I don't know where he
Oh,
stands today,
and
but
that goes back to the belief system. He believed,
yeah,
because a lot of it's just ignorance, he didn't know. He believed there's no way I could do that.
that's right. That's right.
Then you
And
showed him it's really not that hard. It's like, it's a different perspective. Oh my God, it's just a burger without the bun.
absolutely, because
It's
the other
okay.
thing I introduced to them were, because they love Snickers bars. So I picked up some dates. I got some, raw organic peanuts. I got some of those chocolate chips, like the Hue,
Lily.
that's sugar free. And all I did was stuff the dates with the peanuts and dipped them in the chocolate and also added some peanut butter in with the nuts. You would never know the difference that it's just a date with nuts and nut butter and chocolate versus a Snickers bar. Anyway, I just wanted to share that.
That's great. That's perfect. And that was just a perspective shift. It's just,
Yeah,
it's a belief.
that's right.
Oh, the my life is crazy right now. I forgot what I put for the answer. You still have to eat something. Right? So in a pinch, all of us right now, if you're on day one of the program, you could still drive through like a Carl's Jr. And like she was saying, we can't have the beef, but you can have a chicken sandwich without the cheese, wrap it with tomato and onion and a lettuce wrap. Even with what that mild green chili at Carl's Jr. they have, there's, whatever vegetables. You could still have to eat something. So it's just a perspective. It's a perspective. So I can't work out. It's raining right now. Well, what can you do? Well, I can work out inside. I don't even need any equipment. I'll just do a yoga or body weight classes or body weight exercises on YouTube. All right. What time are we at? Oh yeah, running out. All right. So things we can do to change our mindset. Number one, probably the number one thing we can do is have a gratitude journal and writing out and give yourself a number every day of what you're grateful for, because you're training your brain, you're training your reticular activating system to see more ways or things that you are grateful for. It's just like working a bicep in the gym. It's a muscle that gets stronger and stronger. The more you practice your gratitudes and acknowledge your gratitudes, the more you're going to notice things to be grateful for. So that's a huge one. Where are you putting your focus, your study, your time? If we're looking at Pinterest and we're looking at all these cheesy, gooey sweets or crispy onions with the cheesy stuff or the cottage cheese, whatevers, and the desserts and the tiramisus and the creamy casseroles and all that stuff, you're training your subconscious mind to look for more of that. So where you put your focus and where you put your studying, what you're giving your energy to. So go to Pinterest, but look paleo desserts, paleo recipes. Paleo is the most compliant to what we're trying to accomplish because they don't do dairy or gluten. So they're not going to ask for those things or beans or actual sugar. So that would be a way to shift that. What are you looking at? And if you figure out, like when you're looking through a magazine or you're scrolling the internet, what are your eyes the most attracted to? That is what your subconscious mind is thinking about. So if all you can see is like, man, there's dessert. Oh, look at that dessert. Dessert. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's where my subconscious mind is trying to get me to go. So the only way to switch that is start to, on purpose, look for the things that are going to serve you, like the healthier paleo version of that said breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Study the winners. Like we sort of talked about this a second ago. You know, the fit people, how do they have more time to go to the gym than we do? You know, what are the fit people doing? What time do they wake up? What do they eat for breakfast? What do they do when they get to the gym? How long do they stay in the gym? What time do they go to bed? It's especially interesting to watch or watch somebody's story or read about somebody's story who was unhealthy or overweight or both, who became thin or fit or healthy, and watch and see what they did, because it also will, it's called social proof that doing something different, just hang in there, practice in your mind what it's going to be for the next, 3 or 6 months, what you're going to have to do, because once you practice it in your mind, it's going to seem normal when you do it. But studying the winners and picking out what you love. So if they're eating chicken and broccoli and brown rice for lunch every day, and you like those things, copy that. If you like yoga and they're doing yoga, copy that. If you hate yoga, then go find another winner that you like, a different workout. Pick and choose the things that you love and leave the rest. What you're looking for, that's the same thing as focus or study. What are you looking for? If you're looking for more ways, why is this so hard? Why is this so hard? You're going to find it. If you're looking for ways to how can I make this easier? How can I make meal prep go faster? How can I make this process easier? You're going to find it. You might not find it in the moment, but your subconscious mind is at task. Like when you're having a conversation with somebody at lunch, you're at a lunch with your friend, and you couldn't pull a name out of the hat, like, oh, what was that person's name? What was that person's name? 6 hours later, you're going to remember that person's name from high school or whatever. And you're going to call your friend and, oh, it was Joe Schmo. Your brain is still looking for that answer. Just because you kind of forgot about it consciously, your subconscious is looking for that name or whatever. So if you're constantly looking for ways to make these recipes easy and healthy, you're going to find them. They will pop up. Your reticular activating system will let them in. Asking the right questions, not why is this so hard, but how can I make this easier? What can I do when I feel like I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing? But what am I capable of? The power of intentions. I did a whole, this is in module 2. I think it's training number 3 or 4, something like that. But just setting an intention. Today, I'm going to make 5 people smile. And just do that. Just practice that. And now it's going to be fun. Now it's a fun thing to go do. And smile at the guy at the red light next to you and see what happens, or the girl, or whatever. It's just a fun thing to do. But if you set an intention, today I'm going to make really good food choices. Today I'm going to show up at the gym and I'm going to work my legs. Setting the intentions and setting them for the week in advance, scripting the night before. That's a great way to set it up. Because if you wait till the morning, okay, what am I going to do today? Too late. You're already wasted time. You script the night before. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up, 6 a.m. prayer time. Then I'm going to work out for 45 minutes. Then I'm going to this, then I'm going to that. Then I'm going to go take my shower. Then I'm going to go to work. Whatever it is, setting those intentions. If we just kind of wake up and let life happen, that's what happens. Life takes on a life of its own. Changing your language. That's another good one. Like when I go to the restaurant, if the server says, would you like French fries or baked potato with that? Instead of saying, I can't eat that, I say, I don't eat potatoes. Could I please have a side of vegetables or something else? Changing your language. This is hard. This is restrictive. Watch your language because you are listening. And so when we say the negative things, I can't eat that, or I'm not allowed to have that, that goes in, but it's a very negative feeling, and it's hard to stick with the negative things. We have to make it feel good as best we can. All right. I think I already had this. Change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at change. That's Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's great to listen to as well, very inspirational. very spiritual dude. He's not as funny, but he's very enlightened, really. He's passed away now, but he will get your brain thinking about some really cool things. So YouTube is another great place. Jim Rohn, Wayne Dyer, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Mel Robbins, all these people, they're really inspiring, that you might enjoy. Oh boy, I forgot this was on this one. All right, so the success formula, that's also module 2. But I'm just going to review it. And basically the step number 1 is, what is it that you want? Create, what do you want to, what do you want? It's a new year, it's January still. We still sort of have that fresh, brand new start, clean slate kind of energy. What is it that you want? Don't pick 18 things. I'm going to lose 40 pounds. I'm going to open a business. I'm going to get married. I'm going to buy a new house. Like, I'm going to take 14 trips. That's all good and fine. It's a big picture, but let's pick 1 or 2 big things that you're going to work on for yourself and pick it and decide and make a decision on that. Step 2, as I said, you practice in your mind's eye. See it, see yourself having it, see yourself wearing the clothes, see yourself doing the things, the energy that you have with your newfound wonderful health. Picture in your mind and do the practicing. What do you have to do to reach your goal, to get the gut health right? Well, we have to avoid certain foods. So see yourself meal prepping. See yourself saying no to the Doritos at the Super Bowl party. See yourself practice what it looks like, so that when you get 3 months from now, you look back and say, I did all those things, but it will feel more normal and it won't feel so out of the comfort zone. The more you see it, and practice the doings of it. What does it feel like to have achieved it? What does it feel like to get on that scale and see the number you haven't seen in 20 years? What does it feel like to zip up your favorite jeans or wear that little black dress you went on your first date with your husband? What does it feel like to be able to look in your grandchildren's eyes because you're out there playing in the park with them and you couldn't do that last year? You were sick and you were tired. What does it feel like to build those memories with those grandkids or your kids? So you practice the see it and feel it over and over and over again. The believe it part will come. The believe it part is kind of the hardest part, but if you practice your see it and feel it, it's the easiest part, because your brain, the subconscious mind, does not know real from imagined. So you do this over and over again. And the feeling part is what really does the trick. You have to have a visual, sort of. And you can, and when I say visual, you can make a vision board with images of all the things you want to do once you get your health back, or wear, or have, or experiences you'd like to have that you can't experience with your health the way it is now. You can get all those images and put them on a vision board, and then feel what it feels as you look at that vision board, feel it. And eventually your reticular activating system, your little radar, is going to go out and find more ways to make it happen. And then lastly, step number 5 is, when you see the opportunities, when your reticular activating system shows you something, take the action. Buy the food that's labeled with the right label. Go walk into that new Pilates studio, walk into that boxing studio. Buy the shoes that are on sale that you just, the workout shoes. Your reticular activating system showed you those, workout clothes on sale. Go out and buy them, or at least try them on, make sure they fit. Just take the action. So those are how that works. But you can get a little more detail, because I'm running out of time here. Check out module
Can I have a
2,
couple? I'm sorry.
training number 1. What is it?
Just a couple of helpful module 2, training 1. That when we, on 2 of the things you've talked about, is one is gratitude. When we express negativity, we're moved to the amygdala section, the back, a part of our brain where relational bonding is not possible. So complaining, comparing, condemning, criticizing, all that stuff actually repels the thing that we want, even though, say, we're criticizing someone hoping that they change. We actually, it serves the wrong thing, and we're actually, relational bonding is impossible. But when we release gratitude, expressions of thanksgiving, joy, we're helpful, we're releasing oxytocin, which fires relational neurons, which connects us to the object of our gratitude, a person, a vision, a gift in our life that we weren't satisfied with before, or something like that. And then, Lord, what was the other one? Oh, yes, thank you. When you were saying feel it, what's important is that the reason why we have so many, hard and fast habits of thinking and believing is because those things are often created with emotions. They might have been created in traumas. They might have been created in serious pain or
100% right.
disappointment. And so when you're practicing, when you're intentionally using your imagination instead of letting it just be filled with squatters who aren't for you, you're using it, and you're allowing emotions, positive emotions, to connect with the thing that you want, and that is also firing neurons. It is literally rewiring your brain. Thank God
It
for
is.
neuroplasticity.
That reminds me that Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about what you just said. Neurons that fire together wire together. And that's how you create new neural pathways and create new ways of thinking. So that's why I said, if I change my language, oh, I can't have that, I'm not allowed to have that, it feels negative. Then I'm never going to be able to stick with that diet. I'm pretty sure that's what you just said. But if I make it a positive thing, so I don't eat like that, I'm eating healthy now. And it feels good to say, it feels empowering to say that. So if you guys want more information on what she just said, the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can get that on tape too. So that's exactly what she just said. Very spot on. Very good. Thank you for that. And lastly, I want to leave you with this. We can imagine great things without ever doing them, but we cannot do great things without ever imagining them. There is nothing that was built or invented without somebody imagining. The chair you're sitting in, somebody imagined it first. The house you live in, somebody imagined it first. The clothes you're wearing, somebody imagined it first. So keep that in mind, what we're putting in our imagination and how we feel about that imagination, and manipulate it, like use it to our better good. Any questions?
Really, really good session today.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Tammy.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all your input as well. I really do appreciate that. And it's just, we all have something to contribute, and, I don't have all the answers. So I do really appreciate when you guys contribute, and that creates dialogue, and it creates more questions, and it builds. So I appreciate all of that. I see some chats. Let me just go through those.
Just Candy saying thanks so much.
That's all. Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I thank you for showing up today, and hopefully I will see you sometime very, very soon.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.